Hello, everyone. I'm Don Ghost, the worst movie reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about Burning Sands. Burning Sands is about a young man who wants to make it through his fraternity, while at the same time trying to maintain his identity. Now, this movie's lead actor is Trevor Jackson, I think his name is, and he was very great in this movie. Looking at him, he kind of reminded me of J. Cole when I was staring at him. That's just me. I like J. Cole, but yeah. So I was, watching this kid in this movie. I haven't seen him in anything else before. He was very good. His performance was very believable. I liked everything he did in here. He was very good. There are a couple of other actors in here who I thought were very well cast. They gave really good performances. So the main roster of characters you could say in this movie who are like your main focus are very good. They play very believable roles. They execute their performances very well. I have no complaints with any actors in this movie. I would say though the main focus in here, for me anyway, is someone that I've seen before, and he's in that movie Moonlight. I forgot his name, but he is in this movie, and when you see him on screen, it's like, oh, that guy from Moonlight, and so he was very good in here too. Like, I don't know what to say about him, but he was very good in here as well. And then the director is Gerard McMurray, and this is his feature film debut. This is his feature film debut. This is his first movie, and from the opening scene, I was hooked. The tone of this movie was fantastic. I was grabbed immediately. And movies do this to me all the time. There's always a movie where I watch it and the opening scene is so fantastic. Then you go along with the rest of the story, and then it's like the mid-section of the movies is so boring. Then you reach the end of it and you're just like, okay. But openings, there's so many good movies out there that have like really good openings, and then there's some movies out there that are crap and they have really good openings. And with this, I would say this is like in the middle. This isn't a great movie. I wouldn't say it's a good movie. I wouldn't say this movie's great. I wouldn't say this movie's good. It's okay. It's an okay movie. It's like the tone at the beginning is fantastic, and you're thinking, okay, this is what it's going to be throughout, and it is. But then, like, it kind of gets lighthearted. Where when the movie starts off, to me, it feels like, yeah, this dark and serious movie. Where I'm like, okay, I like this tone. Then the movie goes along, and then you have some fun elements in there. Then you have some elements sprinkled in there that kind of reminds me of like Higher Learning by John Singleton. Then you have some other elements sprinkled in there that kind of reminds me of School Days by Spike Lee. And so to me, this movie, it's like it has a mesh of like comedy and seriousness in this really dark tone. And I was just like kind of confused by what is this movie trying to go for? Is it trying to be like a fun movie like School Days but deliver a positive message? Or is it a movie where it's like, okay, no, we're taking this extremely seriously like Higher Learning, but we're just going to sprinkle some comedy in there? So I was a bit confused by the tone of this movie because I didn't know which way it was trying to go. I didn't know if it was trying to go the funny route or the serious route, but it does have a mixture of both. And I thought the scenes that were supposed to be funny were hilarious. Like there are some scenes in there that are really funny, that are executed by certain characters. This one character in particular who I saw at the opening of this movie, I thought he was great. And I wish the one downside I could say about this movie is that the main focus is this guy here, and focusing on him is interesting because we see his relationship with his girlfriend and how that progresses, and you want this guy to pull through. You're wondering why he's doing this, and that's the main thing. Why is he doing this? There's no clear-cut reason as to why, like, the main character is going through all the punishment that this fraternity is putting them through. And that's another thing. The movie doesn't really explain what the whole frat thing is about. Like yeah, you could build connections and stuff that will go on for a lifetime, and friendship and whatever stuff like that. I mean, you even see the dean in this movie who was just like telling the kid, this one certain kid who's just like, yeah, why I did it and all this stuff. And to me, the thing that confused me is like, why are any of these kids going through this, especially the main character? That was what was really bothering me. I didn't understand. I mean, it's like he's obsessed. Even at the beginning of the movie, there's someone who's like, what the hell is this, And then he's still doing it. And then later on, this is the same thing. This question is a reoccurring question throughout this movie as to why this main character is doing this. Why is the main character willing to accept all of the stuff that this fraternity is doing to him? And it's just a reoccurring question, and to me, it's never answered. I mean, it kind of is. I mean, there's this thing in the movie that keeps connecting back to this other thing where it's like, okay, maybe it's a minor spoiler. I just want to say that this movie, minor spoiler, could be connected to fathers. That's all I'm going to say. Fathers. That's it. And then it's just like, okay, that makes sense, I guess, but then at the same time, it's not fully explained because the boy in the movie rarely ever talks about his father. I don't know anything about his father, and so it's like that's what's confusing to me. It's like I feel like, okay, you're trying to deliver a message, and I got a hold of it, and I understand, but I don't get it. Right? I understand what you're going for, but I don't get it. Like what? I don't. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know, but I don't know why. They didn't really, to me, explain why this kid was doing this. And then that's another problem I have with the movie is that they didn't really flush out any of the other characters in here. It's just like they're there, and most of them are cool. Like I look at one guy's face, and I'm like, oh, I recognize this guy, but I don't remember his name. And then I don't even care about him really because it's like, well, we're not paying attention to this guy. We're paying attention to this main character. And so most of the time, we're just following the main character and his stuff and his trials and all this stuff. And then you see the other cast and it's like, oh, yeah, you're here. And then it's like, yeah, some of their stuff is good. But then I feel like the movie towards like the end, it tries to explain, okay, who these characters are. I feel like the beginning first act of this movie is this, okay, boom, here's what's going on, here's the situation. The second act of this movie is just this long whole thing about the main character and his struggle and why is he doing this, and it's just like this filler stuff for so long, and I just got so bored with it. And this movie's only an hour and 40 minutes long, but it feels like 2, and it just feels like it goes on forever. And then you reach the third and final act of this movie, and that's when they try to flesh out the rest of the characters, and then it's like it's too late, and then it's like you get to this one horrific thing, and it's so tragic, but then it's like, wait a minute, why is it that character and not this character? That doesn't make any sense. You're telling me this particular thing is going to happen to this particular character, but yet instead it happens to this character, which you did not hint towards. That makes no sense. So but it's still tragic, and then it's like it ends, and then it's like this, and then it's over, and then it's just like, what just happened? It's like this movie is started off so great. The opening was so great, and in the midsection, I'm interested. It's got me. I'm in, but I'm not fully sold yet. But then it just keeps going and going and going, and I'm just like, okay, I want to know why he's doing this. Please tell me. And then it's like, I think it's throwing hints at you, like, yeah, this is kind of why he's doing this, vague, but it's not a real like response. And then you reach the end where it's like, okay, now you're trying to flesh out all these other characters, and you're trying to build relationships with them. Then by the end of the movie, it's like this situation happens. It's like, holy crap, I saw that coming, but not in the way you executed it. And then it ends, and it's over, and it's just like, I wanted more. I wanted more. This movie, to me, it's like, I always say movies are predictable and they're paint by numbers. There's so many movies that exist in the world that, yes, a lot of them are predictable. It just depends on how they're executed. And with this, it's executed off the bat perfectly. The tone is fantastic. The acting is fantastic. The performers in here, the actors, are all fantastic. No complaints. The progression of the story is interesting, and it's a bit slow in the middle, but you're having so much fun that you're like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to invest some time into this as long as this movie answers certain questions for me. And then you reach the third act, and you're just like, okay, I've been trucking along, and you reach the end, and it's like, you didn't answer anything for me. I'm kind of upset, but the journey towards the end was fine. It was like, will I watch this again? Probably, yeah. It's not bad, but it could have been so much better. Like they should have flushed out more of the characters, more explain why they're doing this and their history with whoever recommended them to be in the fraternity and stuff like that. And why is the fraternity doing this? I don't understand fraternities myself. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't whatever. But it's like, I wanted to know what their goal was. I can understand one of them, like why one of them were doing it, but like with the other people, I mean, there's actually no two people. There are two people in here where I could understand. Okay, the movie literally explains like, yeah, this is why they're doing it. But then the main character, they don't explain why. But I feel like they are throwing it at you, but it's vague and it's like, okay, movie, you're making me think. You're making me think, but I don't think you're really trying hard enough to be like, okay, I don't know, but I don't like most of the things in this movie. I feel like, yeah, they could have fleshed out more of the characters, give them more dynamic and relationships, and the midsection of this movie to me, I feel like it's just fluff. And yeah, I would have to give Burning Sands a C plus. I give Burning Sands a C plus. The movie does feel extremely long. It feels like 2 hours, even though it's an hour and 40 minutes, but it does feel long. And I started to lose interest with the characters at like towards like the last like half of this movie. But I definitely, it's fine. It's on Netflix. Check it out. All black cast, which is really good. It's got Trevon Rhodes in there from Moonlight. He's really good in this movie. So yeah, check it out. If you like movies like Higher Learning by John Singleton or School Days by Spike Lee, stuff like that, give this one a watch. I recommend it. It's good. Just sitting at home, just relaxing with your girlfriend or by yourself, whatever you want to do. It's on Netflix, so it's all good. You don't have to leave the house. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.